Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Playbook for DBT, Data Transformation for the Modern Stack. My name is Mike. I will be your instructor for this course. And a little about me, I'm the founder of Con Data Solutions. And like a lot of you, I'm not originally a developer. I went to school for business and eventually found my way into data engineering back in 2015. So you could call me a quote unquote self-taught developer, but obviously a ton of help along the way. I've led DBT projects at this point at some of the biggest companies, huge migrations at Fortune 100 companies to greenfield startup companies where DBT was the very first tool of choice that they wanted to use for data transformation. I've also been really fortunate to have taught DBT to hundreds of thousands of people through my YouTube channel. So if you found me from there, welcome. Let's now talk about some of the goals of this course. By the end of this, my hope is that you can internalize the DBT viewpoint on modern analytics, confidently set up a simple but modern data environment. We'll touch on a couple of the different points to that. Efficiently build a DBT project from scratch, optimize workflows through automation, and differentiate between DBT CLI, which stands for Command Line Interface and is the open source free tool that we'll get started with, and DBT Cloud, which is the managed hosted version of DBT by DBT Labs, which is the group that's created this. Next, let's talk about the approach and expectations to this course. I think it's important to level set on some of these things. Some of the things that I personally believe in is one, understanding why we're doing something. So it's a combination of theory and product. I think if you just understand how to do it, or you just learn how to do something and not the reasoning behind it, it's not as effective. So my goal is to help you understand why we're doing something. Next is step-by-step guidance. You're purchasing this course to learn how to do something. So I'm here to teach you step-by-step how to do it. And hopefully by the end of it, you're very comfortable and can go do it on your own. And last is fundamentals and efficiency. There's so much that you can learn. It can be daunting, but my goal is to focus on the fundamentals. And from there, everything can be built on top of that. We don't need to cover every single little thing in one course. So what I don't believe in, like I said, 100% product focus, just how to do something and not why. Lectures plus siloed labs. Again, kind of the idea of just saying something and letting you go do it on your own. I think it's obviously important to struggle through and learn on your own. But for this course, the goal is to teach you about DBT and how it works and not just send you on your own. And third is excessive features and wasting time. There's so much to DBT that we could cover. We can't do it all in one course, and I don't think it would be effective to try to cover every little thing. I think it would be overwhelming. So we're going to focus on the fundamentals as efficiently as possible and get you through it. So a couple of things that you should know before starting. This was touched on the before you signed up, but SQL is an absolute must. If you don't know how to write SQL, I would recommend holding off on this course and maybe learning a bit on that before you get started. And then the next three are nice to haves. You don't have to learn it, but basic data warehouse concepts, version control, and basic programming concepts like variables and loops. You don't need to be an expert in any of these things, but if you're not sure on what some of these mean, maybe just do a quick Google search, refresh yourself on the concepts, and come back and get started. But we'll cover all of this as we go. Now, how to get the most out of this course. Number one, I would recommend just eliminating any distractions while you're trying to learn this. So turn off your phone, get in a quiet place, and just focus on this particular course at a time, which goes to the second point, which is maybe just block it off into 1 hour blocks. Don't try to do the whole thing at once. You might overwhelm yourself. Take some time, do it in chunks. And after each section, take a minute to just mentally recap what we went over. A lot of this is going to be new. We're going to move fairly quickly. So take a second to recap it. Don't rush. And don't try to overwhelm yourself by doing it all at one time. And lastly is keep an open mind. I think a lot of the things about DBT, I know I went through this, is it's going to challenge some of the previous held assumptions that you might have about data transformation, about data analytics teams. But there's been a ton of research and conversation about this. So I encourage you to keep an open mind. And I think that's how you're going to get the most out of this course and become the best DBT developer that you could possibly be. All right, so with that said, let's now hop into what DBT actually is and why you should care. See you then.